Okay, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about test anxiety and ways to get the most points on your math test. So, we're going to start with the simple stuff. Think about when your anxiety starts. Does it start a few days before your test? Does it start the night before or the day of? Whenever it starts, we can kind of nip that in the bud by doing some breathing techniques. So, have you ever noticed that you finish a test, you walk out of the classroom, and all of a sudden you know the answer to a problem? The reason for that is we've let go of the anxiety and our brains are functioning again, right? So we want to kind of do that before the test or during the test once our anxiety begins to build. So doing some deep breathing can help. And what I mean by this is basically it's real simple. It sounds a little woo woo, but we're actually putting all of our focus on our breathing instead of the anxiety. And that allows us to then refocus on what we need to focus on. So basically, just breathe in slowly, count of 4, hold your breath a second, and then breathe out another count of 4. And that's it. Do that as many times as you need to decrease your anxiety. So here's the next thing, the simple things. All math tests have a few things in common. One of them's multiplication. So being able to create a multiplication matrix quickly can actually buy you a lot of time. So a minute spent doing that can save you 10, 15 minutes on a test if you're not allowed a calculator. Um, if you have a multiple choice test, all the questions have the same point value. So if you have 10 questions on a test, then each question is going to be worth 10 points. So why not do the easy ones first? They're just as valuable as the more difficult ones. So go through your whole test and do all the easy ones before you do the difficult ones. So at least you get all those points. Um, Here's something simple, sounds silly, but put your name on your test. Some teachers take off if you don't have your name. And hey, you know the answer to that question right off the bat. So do that. So for multiple choice tests, there's some things that can really help you there. Number one, the answer is right there. There is an answer in one of those 4 or 5 choices that you have beneath the question. So you're really a lot more likely to get the answer on a multiple choice test. Um, Make sure that you answer every question on multiple choice because it doesn't hurt you to not answer it. Um, and then use clues that are in the answers. A lot of times you'll see, you know, 4 or 5 answer choices and 3 of them will look the same. A lot of times that's where the answer is in those 3. Because if you think about it from the point of view of the teacher creating the problem, there's only one correct answer. So they got to make up several incorrect answers. So they're going to make up answers that are really close to what that answer might be. So um, it's not 100%, but it's very likely to be the case. So now let's get into what can we do ourselves to guarantee that we do the best that we can on a test. So if you have 2 days or more before the test, you can list the items that are going to be on the test. So make yourself a sheet, um, whatever the topics that are going to be. And this will kind of be your guide to what to practice. Make flashcards for all the vocabulary words. So, because maybe your teacher likes to question you on vocabulary. Well, that's an easy answer. That's an easy way to make points is to know those vocabulary words. Make a 1-page review sheet. Even if you can't bring it to the test, it's still good to do it because it helps you to kind of solidify what you know and what you don't know. Practice making your multiplication matrix. Review all the flashcards that you made for your vocabulary. There's probably not going to be many, but this is really important. Listen really closely to what your teacher has to say. So they're going to give you hints and clues throughout the days before a test. And some of them may tell you exactly what's going to be on the test. Hey, if you know this right here, you're going to do great on the test. So whatever this is, make sure you list that on your sheet. And then practice your review problems. And I like to go over them more than once just so I absolutely know. Okay, so that is the days before a test. So the night before a test, I want you to just kind of picture the test in your head, picture sitting at your desk. You're going to be getting the test. You might even get anxious seeing this. So go ahead and practice your breathing techniques. Close your eyes, count to 4 breathing in, count to 4 breathing out, and do that until that anxiety goes down. Go through all your practice problems again, and then redo anything that's really stumping you and giving you troubles. Practice creating your multiplication matrix. Every time you do this, you're actually learning some of those multiplication facts. Review your flashcards again, and then update your review sheet, because if you created your review sheet 2 or 3 days ago, things may have changed. The teacher may have added something. You may be more aware. So go ahead and update that. So now we get to the day of the test. Again, do the easy things. You've got your, put your name on the test. Get out your notes that you created. If you're allowed to have them for the test, get those out and have them ready. If you're not, you can just kind of quickly go over it and pop it back into your notebook. Create your multiplication matrix, or if you haven't had time to do anything, then you can create kind of a mini matrix, which is just skip counting the numbers that are really difficult to get to. So I started on this one. So let's kind of finish this one up. So I've got across the top, I've just put the numbers 1 through 9. And then below it, I started skip counting sixes. So I get 6, 12, 18, 24. So I know if I need 6 times 6, I go 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, so that would be my answer right there. So let's see, 7 times 7, so it's 49. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 9 is 63. So I can go and basically create this from scratch in about a minute. All right, and then I can use it to find other answers. So again, we can look on it. So this one, I messed up on this one, didn't I? So I will fix that right away. So that is 8, and then 16, which is what I didn't do, and then 24, and then 32, and 40. So if I want to see what is 3 times 8, that's 24. So I can refer back to this throughout the entire test. Again, if you have a calculator, that might be quicker for you. Then don't forget to breathe. If you start getting anxious, just start breathing. It doesn't have to take long, a few seconds, just to get you back in the moment, right? Okay, for each problem that you have, read the problem and then read the answers if it's a multiple choice test. If you get stumped, circle that question and then just move on. Okay? Let's see, we mentioned that. So then read the problem again for understanding. I often have to read these problems 3 or 4 times before I understand what the writer is trying to ask of me. And then highlight the key pieces or underline them or whatever. And then you can draw a picture or label something, draw a shape, put the units on it, do a number line if you're going to be adding negative numbers together. draw a graph, whatever you need to do to help you to understand the problem better. And this will also help you to move to the next step. You know, if you get the one step, sometimes it'll kind of trigger something and say, oh, I know what to do after that. Okay. If you are in a multiple choice, you can eliminate the answers like we talked about earlier. You can also check the answer. So if you get an answer, say the answer is 24, you can go back up to the original problem, put in 24 into the question and see if it makes sense. If it doesn't, go through that process again. And again, remember to breathe. Um, for tests where you show your work, it's really important to get your partial credit. Get as much as you can. Even for problems that are difficult, you can still get partial credit if you can show the teacher that you know something, right? So write down what you know. If you know it's a rectangle and you know what the units are, draw your rectangle and label your units. If you know that you've got to, multiply a couple things together, do that. Whatever it is, write down everything that you know, even if you don't get to the end of the problem. Again, draw a picture. Don't erase anything because the teacher will be able to see what you're trying to do. And often you might be right, you might not be right, but it doesn't hurt to write it down and to keep it there. The other thing that erasing does is it takes time. So one more thing is just keep your numbers lined up. So if you're doing long division or two-digit multiplication, make sure your numbers are lined up really well so you don't make a mistake just because your numbers weren't lined up. Okay, I think that's it for now. I hope there's something in there that helps you to do better on this next test coming up. All right, I'll talk to you soon.